Good morning and welcome to the start of another busy week. It's Monday the 22nd of September and today I start back uni for my third and final year, my first semester of my third year of uni, and not going to lie, I am bricking it slightly. But this week is going to be a particularly busy week. We have a couple of things to be getting on with today. Obviously, we've got our first class, Doctrine of God, this afternoon. We have our presentation to do to the Guild tomorrow, which I need to prepare tonight. And then also we're preaching on Sunday as well. So we need to start again looking at that. We're going to get the to-do list all put out, everything itemised on it so that we can tick every single thing off and we don't miss anything, we don't forget anything. And we're just going to start crossing those off one at a time. I'm just away just now to get some of the bits and bobs that I need for Boys Brigade, because I forgot I've got prizes to give out for different things as well. So we'll be doing that, not this Friday because it's a September weekend, so they're off, but we'll be doing that the next Friday. But at least if I've got them, I can take it from there.
I say I'm bricking it, and that's because every year builds on the previous year and every year gets a little bit harder. And you look at the start of the semester and you see all the work that lies ahead of you, all the reading you've got to do, all the materials you've got to cover, and you think, I'm just never going to have enough time to do any of this. But I always feel like that, and you always fit it in some way, shape or form. So it's really just kind of going with the flow, doing what we can, and kind of doing what you can do effectively in there. You can't do any more than that. So we'll try our hardest with it, we'll get as much done as we can, but also remembering to take some of that time for breaks and to do some stuff for ourselves as well. Now, the biggest struggle for me with any university stuff is the reading, because one, I'm not a very fast reader, I take a long time to read it, and two, if I've got to read it for comprehension and work things out, I'm never getting it. I'm just never going to be able to take it in effectively very well. And it's something as if, if I'm reading something for fun, I don't have any problems with comprehension, but when I'm reading something that's a difficult text or anything like that, it's very, very difficult for me. So that's always going to be a challenge, and on top of that, fitting in services like the one that I'm doing this week is always going to be a challenge as well. But we just need to manage our diary, we need to be strict with our time, we need to be disciplined. Unfortunately, that means that probably for the next few weeks there's not going to be much of a day off. I was hoping that a Wednesday might be the day off. It might still be, but certainly not this week anyway. There's just too much to be getting on with. So I'm going to sit down and plan out some of that and then get ready for tomorrow night. Get the guild stuff that I need to do ready for tomorrow night, and then it's just on to worship tomorrow and with the Trinity students. I'm still going into Glasgow for that, but that's the only thing I'm going into uni for tomorrow, so that should be good. As I sit here writing out my talk for tomorrow night, it's all obviously about my call, and it's rehashing a lot of memories that I haven't thought about for, not in great detail, for a long time. And actually seeing it all in some sort of logical, chronological order is actually bringing back a lot of memories of things that happened. And the problem I'm probably going to have tomorrow is cutting this down to 20 minutes. I was worried about making it up to 20 minutes, but I'm probably going to struggle to cut this down to 20 minutes because it's actually a really, really big story, a big, huge part of my life. Obviously, it's really only spanning up right up until today, effectively, but the bulk of the call is really only spanning 10 years, but there's so much rich material in there about what God has done in my life and where he's moved to push me forward and to change things. So yeah, it's really strange kind of bringing all these things back up and resurfacing old memories. I'm actually quite emotional even just thinking about how I was at those times and how stupid I was on a lot of those occasions for not just being open and honest about things at the time, but yeah, it's a strange feeling, but I'm going to finish this off, do another 5-10 minutes work on it, I think, and I'll be done. But we're there, we're ready for tomorrow night, and feeling a bit calmer about everything as well. It's kind of put in perspective my feelings on university as well these past few days. So these things have a way of working themselves out, and we just need to trust God's plan in them all. So that's what I'm going to do. Finish off and then get ready for bed to face Trinity worship tomorrow.
Trinity worship for me has always been that sort of weekly reset as I'm at uni. Whether there's lots of things going on, whether there's 101 problems, stresses, anxieties there, Trinity worship always has a way of calming you back down, bringing you back to earth, and giving you that sense of peace in there that you need to continue on in your week. And as a training minister, you start to recognise how few and far between those opportunities for worship become, because ultimately when you go into a charge or a parish, you're there on a Sunday morning doing the work, and it's not quite the same as sitting in the pew and receiving the word of God, although you are doing a lot of work during the week as well. It's just slightly different when there's somebody else leading you in worship and you get that opportunity just to participate as a worshipper rather than as a leader. And so yeah, of course there's weeks where you take the worship, there's weeks where you have to lead, and in fact I'm leading next Tuesday, so I'll be doing that and getting that out the way pretty quickly, which means then as I get into exam season and the more difficult times, then it's much easier for me to just enjoy that, because I'm not thinking about also having to plan worship as well. So we're just about to head off into Glasgow to participate in worship. After that we have lunch, which again is another time where we normally get the chance to sit down and have a chat and work out fix the Church of Scotland, as it were. We have all the chats about what's wrong with the church and how do we fix it and what do we do here and there and everywhere, and all and any topics of discussion, which is something else I deeply, deeply value, whilst I still get that opportunity to participate in that. So we're looking forward to that. We've got worship, then lunch, then I'll be home and I'll do a wee bit more final prep before tonight, and then just take it from there. One of the other benefits to going to Trinity worship on a Tuesday is that because they'd use the lectionary readings for the Sunday on the Tuesday before it, if you're preaching on the Sunday, which most of us usually are at some point, it gives you that chance to see someone else's perspective on the text. Now, sometimes that can be wildly out of the box and totally different to how you're thinking about it, and that's okay. It's not as problematic as I might have first thought when I started doing this, but they also sometimes give you key insights and see how your quotes and things like that will land when you do them on the Sunday. So Graham today was preaching and leading, and he preached on the Timothy text. He also used Psalm 146, I believe, and if I remember rightly anyway. And it was interesting to see how he took it. He took it from that point of view of using ourselves, using the talents that God has given us wisely, spending our talents wisely, not trying to use them for rich gain, but trying to use them in a generous spirit and fruitfully for other people just as much as for ourselves. But he also used a couple of quotes that I had quoted them as different people. So I'm going to go and double check, because there is every possibility that I have got the quote wrong, or that it's just been one of those things that's been there lots and lots of times that, you know, it has lost its meaning. But he quoted one of the other Rockefellers as having said it, and the quote was slightly different as well. But not that it really matters, it still gets the point across to people, and there is every possibility that it has happened twice. So that is still going to stay in my sermon. I'm going to have a wee read over what I've written for Sunday again, just to make sure it's kind of on point, and anything that Graham said today that I think, oh, that'd be a good point to steal and put in my own sermon, then that's what I'll be doing as well. But it's always interesting to see how other people are preaching, to see the things that other people have picked up in the passage, because there is so much in these texts. The biblical texts are so rich with material. You could preach on them for weeks and weeks and weeks and never lose sight of some material in there. Having said that, there's some really boring ones as well, which you might find difficult to do that with, but particularly the letters and what have you, they are very rich indeed. And so he's given me a lot to think about. It's been a good time of relaxation, but we'll definitely be thinking more about that probably tomorrow, as we have a day free now. But again, tell you about that in a wee while. Right now though, is we are shifting that focus to the Guild Talk tonight. So I'm going to run over my material just one more time, go through it all, make sure I'm happy with it, take it from there and do the Guild Talk, and then we're done for the day.
Good morning. The Guild Talk last night went super well. In fact, it went well for two reasons. One, it was well received. There was brilliant cakes, of course, and which I enjoyed very much. And there was also the fact that the minister was there that night as well. So I was supposed to be meeting her today to go over a few things for what she needed done on Sunday, and also for the service in a couple of weeks' time. So I now no longer need to do those things today. So I've decided to take the rest of the day, to take that opportunity just to reset, get everything kind of put away, cleaned up, because there's lots of things hanging about. I've got these boxes over here which are BB things that I need to get planned and organised and sorted for next week's sleepover. Again, I'll probably talk a bit more about that next week, but there's loads of things still to be done, but they're all in hand, they've all got time slots, and I can afford to take the Wednesday off. I think Wednesday is going to be that day for me. I think I've said that already, that I can take as a day off and just relax, because there's not usually much happening on a Wednesday in my timetable. So what I'm going to have to do is schedule that in as a day off. And what better way to do that today is to go and spend some of my birthday vouchers with my sister at Top Golf. So that's what we're going to do tonight. But before then, we're just going to take it easy, do some quick resetting, as I say, maybe watch a few TV programmes, and then head through and meet her there. Try that one again. That was good. I mean, it's not the club you're supposed to do that with, but through it. That's it. See?
after that enjoyable night last night, now we need to get back to work again today. So this morning I've been out in the garden trying to winterise the garden, get the hoses away and what have you, because obviously it's a change in seasons. I've done some of my videos this morning for TikTok out in the garden as well, in the lovely winter sun. Is it winter sun yet? Is it still autumn sun? I suppose it's autumn sun technically, but you really only have a summer sun and a winter sun, do you not? Anyway, but I was taking some videos out there in the sunshine for a change. I thought about doing it like that last night, which was quite good. And so that's all done this morning. There's lots already crossed off the list. What the plan is for today is back into service mode though. So I need to get the prayers ready for Sunday. Prayer 1 is the kind of Thanksgiving approach to God, the asking for forgiveness for our sins, etc. in there as well. So I generally try and link that to what I'm talking about in the service. So I'll link it with the idea of the worldly wealth and the heavenly wealth in there. So that's kind of the thought process for that. And then obviously the second main prayer is the intercessory prayer. I've still to get all the stuff for the children's address, but I'll leave that till Saturday. I'll get all that Saturday, and I know it's a bit of a risk because if they don't have the golf balls and what have you in different places, but I should be fine getting things like that. You know, I should be able to get a bag of golf balls, no problem whatsoever. It's mainly the tub that will dictate everything else that I get for it. So yeah, lots to think about and lots of wee niggly bits to do there, but today we're going to try and cross off a lot of that off the list. We'll try and cross off those 2 big prayers, and then I can leave till tomorrow the rest of the prayers to put into the my order of service basically for that. I'll need to write up an order of service as well. That's another item I'll need to add to the list. But you can see how my mind starts to get filled with all these things. That's why I stick to this to-do list so much, and I put everything I can think of down on it, because otherwise it gets lost and you get so caught up with all these things you've got to do and not enough time to do them. Now there is time to do them, and there's also time to take a break as well, and these are the things I'm trying to teach myself and to learn myself in there. But we've had our time of break, and we now need to get our head down and get most of this work done. Now we will get a huge chunk of it done today as well, because a lot of these tasks will be niggly things that'll take 5 minutes to do, but they just need to be done. So I'll get those done today, and then we'll effectively take it from there and find out, you know, what's left. But there's a few important things that need to be done today. For example, I've got one of my officers needs to do a new PVG, so I'll get him sorted with that, and we'll take it from there. But there's some things in there that need to be done. There's other things in there that can be put off. One of the things that can also be put off is the reading for tomorrow's class. So I need to get started and get into that habit of doing the reading for the class before the class, because there is going to be so much of it coming up. So heads down, into the books, get things done, and effectively that's going to be it for today. Not really exciting, but unfortunately sometimes you just need to put the graft in. And just like that, all the prayers are written for Sunday's service. All that really remains now for Sunday is to get the children's address stuff sorted out, and then putting it all together and having a wee final run through on that. A wee bit to do with the slides as well, but it's only the intimations that will come through over the next couple of days anyway, so I won't do that right until the last minute on probably Saturday night. And even then, there might be a couple that come through on Sunday morning to be put into the presentation as well. So all that done. Prep for tomorrow's class on early church history is also done. It wasn't quite as hard as what I thought it was going to be, so we got that done super quick. And all the paperwork that I've got to go through tonight with one of my officers at Boys Brigade is sorted as well. So we're cooking with gas just now. there is still a lot on the list. There's still a lot to be done, but we've been productive today. We've got much of it done and we're pretty settled. I did do a run through the sermon as well for Sunday, just to remind myself of what it was that I was going to be saying, and if there was anything from what happened on Tuesday that we wanted to add in. There wasn't really much more to be said as far as where I've taken it for the service, but there was a few things that I thought, oh, I'll change that and I'll tweak that a wee bit to help make that point a wee bit clearer. So it was valuable looking at it from that way, but there was no sudden shift in perspective that meant I had to rejig the whole service from there. But we've done it. Onwards and upwards. This is something that happens far too often in ministry, and I really don't like it. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. But if your faith doesn't make you feel uncomfortable, then are you really doing it properly? So you know how I am preaching on this idea of always chasing more, chasing the things of the world this week. Well, I done a video on TikTok during the week there of me ordering my new iPhone, i.e. chasing something else, something more that I need to buy and get. And then I gets a notification that the headphones that I ordered 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, because I needed new headphones, are on their way today as well. So whilst I'm going to be standing up there preaching on Sunday about not chasing the things of the world, I'll be doing that whilst just having received and having ordered brand new iPhone, brand new headphones, etc. Yeah, not exactly the vibe I was going for. Having said that, I ordered the iPhone because I was needing a new iPhone, or my contract was up, and my iPhone goes to someone else and their iPhone goes to someone else. So we kind of pass the iPhones down. So really, every 2 years when I get a new phone, the phones get passed round in a circle. So the one that's at the bottom of that chain of 3 is actually 6 years old and really in need of an upgrade. So that's my excuse, and that's what I'm sticking to anyway for the iPhone. The headphones, I have been looking for headphones for a long time. I was looking to get the new AirPods, but with a USB-C, because I'm trying to have everything on the one cable so that it's much easier for me to manage and just take one cable with me everywhere rather than all these hundreds of things that I don't know what they connect to and what they don't connect to, and vice versa. And it makes it easier for other folk as well, knowing that you only need one cable to charge their devices to. So I was looking for that. That was really the key feature. And I knew they were going to be coming out with new AirPods soon anyway, so I've also ordered the new AirPods as well. Those were planned expenses, they were planned into my diary, but it still doesn't exactly look good when you're preaching on Sunday about chasing the stuff of the world as being a bad idea, and then you've just bought all these things as well. So yeah, I've got to try and work out theologically where I'm standing on that at the minute. But did I really need the iPhone? No, let's be totally honest, I didn't need the iPhone. However, I'm not chasing it as something. I'm not chasing it as I need to get this, I need to get this, I need to get this, I need to get this. So I'm not really chasing the more. I am using the more. I'm going to take it and use it as a tool, and I use it for this stuff as well. If it's going to be helpful for doing these videos, then fantastic. If I can, because the new iPhone has the look at me try and justify it, but the new iPhone has, you can shoot from the front facing camera in 4K apparently. Don't know how good that's going to be, but we'll see. If I can do that, then that's great. And you can also shoot horizontal, but with your phone in portrait as well, which again would be life changing in doing all these videos and stuff. I wouldn't need to carry about as many cameras, and it would simplify things down quite a bit. So those are my excuses. That's what I'm sticking to. Nobody argue back in the comments with me about how I'm being stupid on that front, please, because I already know I'm being stupid. Okay, I know. But this is the thing that happens in ministry. You get convicted of these things whilst you're getting ready to preach the service, and it makes it really hard to stand up there on a Sunday and preach the good news, because you know you're just you know how much you feel at these things, and how are then you in the right position to give anybody any advice on this. So that's the thing you've got to wrestle with. But we'll not be wrestling with that for a wee while. I'm just about to head in for my last class of the week, early church history, see how that goes, and then home. And tonight I'm meeting with my sister and my mum to plan going to Florida next year, so that should be a bit of excitement today. I feel like yesterday ended a wee bit more abruptly than I would have liked it to, but needless to say, the planning for Florida went well, albeit it's very, very, very expensive, which I was not quite expecting, but however, that's the way of the world now. And also, I'm now here trying to get all the stuff for the children's address tomorrow, so hopefully I can get it all. If not, then I'm going to have to think of something else. But to find out if I do get all the things and it does happen the way I want it to do on Sunday, then you'll need to come back next week and I'll give you an update then. But for now, thanks for being here, and I'll see you again in the next one.